Okay. Since at least a couple people said they were interested in seeing a video, I decided I would come up and kind of explain the raid plan and also look at some like video clips so I can kind of show everyone all different points of the fight and hopefully answer any questions before they even have to come up. So for starters, these are our markers. Don't really need to worry about a lot of these until P2, but we're obviously starting the fight on blue. I'm going to pull the boss over here. We're going to be hitting the boss. Bunch of damage is happening. He's going to do a combo. The combo is going to be two of the cone mechanic and two of the soak mechanic. The weak aura handles when we need to soak. However, you're only going to soak one per combo. You're not going to take both soaks in each combo. Um, and I've kind of demonstrated the direction that we want the soak to be going. Ideally, it's kind of out and backwards as we're going sort of clockwise, but we're going to pull the boss to blue. It's going to do this combo. There's going to be meteors flying everywhere and whatnot. We're going to soak. After the soak, it's going to be like one last frontal maybe, or maybe we soak the soak is the final thing. We're going to start moving the boss. Then there's going to be blazes. First set of blazes we drop, keep moving a little bit. Second set of blazes we drop, keep moving a little bit, and then we'll be on moon. We repeat that for moon. We move to purple. We repeat it for purple, and then we're here. We're in between purple and star, which is where we need to be for our next set of mechanics. Um, After this, we go into the first intermission, where the boss spawns a bunch of circles that are like the little portals, and then the boss does the beam attacks that he does in Heroic. On Heroic, these circles are placed by players, and the direction that the beams face are random. In this, they are not. The whole thing is choreographed. Um, so initially, the boss will be here, kind of right of in between purple and yellow. The whole raid will stand right here in this little gap. The boss, the tank is going to be taking the frontal, and then all these are all stationary. Following that, there's going to be an in out or an out in, and we're going to have a gate here from the middle of the arena to up here. And what we will need to do is, let's say that it is out in, we will simply stay at yellow for the out and then gate into the middle for the in. If it's vice versa, we'll run to the middle with like a druid roar. Um, and then it collapses, and then we take the gate out, and we're safe. Following this, anyone who was not, or this was I've already happened. I'm rambling, but we're going to split the groups. Instead of our usual way we split, we're doing odds left, evens right. We're going to do 1-2 left, 3-4 right. This just makes it a little bit easier for healers when they're like looking at their frames. Um, it also can make it much easier to see, like visual clarity wise, if someone is on the wrong side or if it's just a little bit better. And this is the way the Liquid Weak Aura does it. On the platforms, this is the main central arena, and I did this because if I can obviously change to a side arena, which I guess I can do here. But it also changes all of the other pages. But there's a Titan, which is the big guy who needs to die or he'll wipe. There is these, what are they called? A Prince, and there's 4 of these Reapers. The Reapers do a Nexus Princess line. You need to go to the opposite of the one you're targeted by. So if you get targeted by this guy, you need to go over here. If you're targeted by this guy, you need to go over here, this guy go over here, etc. Just go to the opposite of the one across from you, the outside of the one across from you. They will charge through each other, break their shields. It's going to happen a couple times. Besides that, we need to kick the knight, and then there's going to be a meteor cast by this big Titan guy, which will drop a bunch of swirlies. I have it all written here, but we want to make sure we bait the swirlies, which I've kind of demonstrated in this. They're much bigger than this, but we want to drop them in the middle or on the very edge. We want to leave the middle area safe. So, obviously no one's staying in the middle while we're getting baited because we don't want to make it impossible to dodge. I don't have it mentioned here, but the same thing with in Heroic, where the entire room is divided into like 3 quadrants and it's spinning, is happening here, like the Gallywix mechanic. Um, but the size shouldn't be a non-issue except for the fact that they are a DPS check. We need to kill the Titan. After we come back, there's another set of these beam mechanics. So we're going to go back to the same spot and repeat the beam mechanics. It will be the opposite of the first one. So if the first one was out and then in, we know that the second one will be in and then out. Besides this, we go into the burn. This is where we're lusting. We'll want to kind of spread the group out. And these like purple like blaze lines get baited. We dodge them. We're lusting. We're hitting the dragon, trying to basically kill the dragon. Which killing the dragon is feasible with the amount of gear we have. Besides that, at the end of this, every single player will get targeted by a blaze, so it's important that we're kind of spread equally around the circle. Because every single player gets targeted with a blaze at once and it all collapses. Everybody gets sucked into the middle. P3 is practically handled entirely by the weak aura. But there's a couple spots on, oh, let me change back to, no, not full center. Mostly, I think we initially drop on star and X. So if 3 people will get told to get drop on X, 3 people will get told to drop on star, I have it demonstrated here what it will look like, 1 person on the icon, 1 left and 1 right. And then the assignments will keep going out because we have multiple sets of these stars getting placed. You need to place them on specific, these areas need to be specific. They need to be exact, because if this is like this, we wipe. If this is like this, we wipe. Because when these go over here, they touch and then they'll wipe. They need to be exactly in their lanes, because if this is too back, we wipe because these two will collide. They need to be exactly in the lane. After we do this, there's obviously the lines. On Heroic, these lines break the stars. On Mythic, they make the stars orbit the other direction. So how we handle this is we're dropping the other stars way in these other areas, and we use our 3 star killer strikes, which happen multiple times, to continuously change the direction of the closest set. This is because it's easiest for melee, it's the easiest ones to hit. It's the whatever method that they've decided, like Liquid and Echo has decided to be the most effective. The tank who's targeted will hit the middle, and then the weak aura will say it'll have an arrow either facing left or right, and that's going to be left or right facing outwards. So I kind of showed this, and I'll turn it. If you're in the middle and you're facing out, left is left, right is right, okay? Which we will be in the middle when these go out. Obviously, there's a whole lot of dodging, and it is a little hectic. The lines, like the little expanding lines from the dodges, are much faster. They they require you to not hesitate at all with your movement. If, say, like the dodge line comes out and you're like in the middle of it or like right behind it, you need to either decide that the millisecond it comes out, you need to decide that you're going to stay or sprint across. There's not enough time for you to hesitate. You will die, and you get MC'd, and it's not good. Anytime you die in this fight, you get MC'd. It's super bad. It'll cause a bunch of raid damage. It's not good. Besides that, I wanted to show what the sort of into this fight looks like, because I mean I can just kind of go through. Obviously, we were seeing this. Blazes come out, blah blah blah, and they're like moving the boss. Yeah, we saw this. The beginning of the fight is not too complicated. I can kind of show you what these dodging looks like. So you see the beams. First beams don't move. We can see
we are going out.
First set is out, and we know that out is followed by in, so they stay out, and then they're going to gate into the middle, and it collapses on them. This is pretty tight too. You have to be in the middle. And then they're going to different sides. I'll kind of just generally skip this. These are those meteors I was talking about. I think after these beams, we might see another set of.
Do you need extra help here, Dranny?
I'll mute the video. I think we'll see an extra set of the Kaiveza lines here. Yeah, so see these Kaiveza lines, go to the opposite. You see like was targeted by this one. We go to the opposite, they break, and then you can damage them. Obviously, they kill the mortar, and they go back to the middle. Again, they're doing this exact same mechanic set. It's in, because the first set was out then in. I mean, the second set is in then out. Okay. And then the intermission, this is the lust. This looks exactly the same as heroic, it's just dodging. However, at the end of it, everyone's targeted by a blaze and gets pulled in. So here's the area that I wanted to kind of show on the video. Is this P3. You see our first people, They're dropping out here on star, and the second people are dropping out somewhere else. They drop. Okay, and you can see the dodges immediately start to come out. Obviously, we're watching a healer POV, so this is fucked. But um, they're dodging, and then their goal is to get in the middle. They try to get in the middle for when these star killer swings come out. And you can see these are much faster. You have to be cognizant of how fast these lines are. So you see they're targeted. We know this is tank POV, so we know the tank's always going to hit the one in the middle. And then you can see maybe it'll switch to one of the other POVs. But if not, one will say left, one will say right, and you hit them and they change directions. And then this fight just continues. They place more stars, and then eventually there's too many stars, so it doesn't rage. Um, it like force enrages. I think it's a hard enrage, you just blow up. Um, but this little weak aura on your screen tells you exactly where we need to place the stuff. It's very timed and choreographed. There's no questioning what needs to happen. This fight is exact every single time. There's no variance. The only variance on this fight is in the first intermission, whether you go out then in or in then out. But you will see both sets every single time we fight it. But you can obviously the weak auras are the same as heroic. You get targeted left or right, you know. Um, I'll also show the ghosts for people who were maybe dead or were not able to see them. Um, so they're doing whatever. They're soaking this one, so they get one debuff off. Tank's pointing the frontal backwards. Um, they're baiting. They're doing the blazes. Um, then the second set of blazes because it's 10 then 10. Um, you can see this is a ranged POV is doing the thing I was talking about where you stand in the middle because it makes your thing spawn better. He sees the spawn, he looks at it directly in his camera, charges through him, and it's over. That's all you have to do. For the second set, there's obviously two. I'll skip to the third set because I think it's probably a little bit more useful information. Um, so the 1, 2, 3. They happen pretty quick. But yeah, that should be everything. Um, Also, if anybody wants to play PoE, we can group play. Hit me up. New leagues on Friday. But yep, GG's. We'll see you guys on Thursday. We can kill this boss real quick.